This podcast is brought to you by Fandom Spotlight. Check us out at fandomspotlight.com. Have fun and follow your fandom.
Last time on Dragon Ball for Life.
Mr. Porter, the last one of the arc.
Last one.
Ready?
Shortest one. I don't even need the 10 seconds. 5 seconds.
I'm going to give you the 10 seconds anyway. So
I appreciate you.
In 3, in 2, in 1, go.
Goku's a dickhead. Goku's a kaiju. Vegeta comes with clutch. We win.
Simple enough. And you had about, like you said, you only needed 5 seconds. So let's get the show started then.
Let's get it.
Yeah, we are back for the final summary of the Moro arc. I am one of your co-hosts, Mr. Troll Trav, aka Sane A. Smith, and right now I am really extremely chilling, and I always will love thy women like Krillin. And the reason why I'm saying
Super Saiyan chilling.
I am Super Saiyan chilling is because the vid got me, and I'm in isolation. So, you know, I'm coming from you live from the bedroom.
had to throw him in the discount hyperbolic time chamber real quick.
Yeah, you know, I'm out here. I'm out here resting, you know, out here recuperating. But, you know, the other co-host of mine, he's healthy and well. Tell him who you are, per usual.
We back. I am getting over a bit of a cold if I sound a bit nasally. The vid didn't get me. My German children got me. But y'all know me. Bro Gita, the Prince of all Saints, Mr. Matty Ice, Matthew Porter on the ones and twos, and I'm excited. It's been a long road, guys. We made it to the end of the arc. You stuck by us. Had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. Again, we're not going anywhere. We're just taking a break from the manga breakdowns for a little bit, but we will be doing something else, and it's gonna be visuals, so y'all can see our beautiful faces and how my backdrop matches Trav's durag is lit. We ain't even playing for that. Did it by accident.
You know, just team chemistry per usual, man.
Synergy. Fusion dance dons. You feel me?
Woo!
Yeah.
But, you know, we finally are here. The conclusion of the Moro arc. Last chapter was the conclusion of the battle between Moro and the Z Fighters. Now we finally have the official conclusion of the arc in its entirety. And to be honest, you know, it's a wrap-up chapter. And we can just cover I'm going to just give you the main highlights of the chapter because, you know, we start off chapter 67. The title of this is Happy Endings, ... and then ... which
they did not read the room on that title.
Right, like
who greenlit this one?
that title is like, it's not even, so I'll say this, it's different than the other ones, where the other ones kind of felt like, oh shit, we got to come up with a title. This one, it felt like they tried to be unique and creative with it, where it kind of just doesn't make sense at all. Like, I see what they're doing, where like they're trying to lead into the next arc, but yeah, it was just like, oh, all right, like it just seems unfinished, which, you know, maybe that's what the angle that they were trying to go for, but maybe. You know, anyways, the highlights of this chapter are essentially
also for the region that these come out to call this a happy ending. Fine, they didn't really think that one through. They didn't really think that one through.
You took that to a deeper level than I.
They didn't really think about it. They're like, after it printed, it's like, fuck, we probably shouldn't have put that.
Or maybe they could be just taking the approach where, like, you know how black people have embraced nigga and say it amongst each other, like maybe. I don't know. We could be going real left with this, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
I feel you. Back on track.
So
hilarious.
the highlights are we got the aftermath of the battle. Obviously they got to go gather the Dragon Ball so that they can restore all the damage that Moro has done, erased everyone's memories of everything that's happened, because that's what they do in Dragon Ball. They fuck up the planet and then they reverse everything so that everyone just moves on about their daily life. Then Goku and Vegeta get rewarded by the Galactic Patrol with some medals of honor. And
Very
this
Star Wars-esque.
Yeah, during this ceremony, we learn Jocko's last name, which I can't even pronounce it. It's Jocko Terramenten Poboshi. I don't know. Like it was definitely
Jocko John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
Yeah, and like I guess it's another play on humor just to make it sound he's got a crazy wild last name that we're never gonna remember, that we don't even need to think about. So cool, that's fine with me. Goku greets the Galactic Patrol King once again and grabs his meat.
He extends him his dick again.
Yep. And then the big revelation of the chapter is Mirrors is alive. How? Well, turns out that when Mirrors had vanished, Supreme Kai had made a visit to the Grand Priest and had basically offered his life for Mirrors' life. He was ready to sacrifice himself, which
again
is another
so unearned.
Bro, like it's another example of why the Supreme Kai is just ass at his job, because it's like,
yeah,
bro, like you do realize that if you sacrifice yourself, Beerus is gone too, which obviously when the Grand Priest tells Whis and Beerus, because they were summoned by him, so they're there to visit him, and this is where they learn of how Mirror survived. And of course Beerus is like, yo, you know that we're a joint package, right? You know that it's not just you that's gonna die and go away.
You go,
Me
I go.
too. Whis is good. He's gonna forever just be floating around in the abyss. He doesn't disappear. It's me. So Grand Priest, he listened to the Supreme Kai and he was like, look, I ain't gonna do that, but I'll restore Mirrors as a mortal. He'll no longer have his angel abilities, and he now has a lifespan. So now Mirrors is mortal, and he is living amongst the Galactic Patrol, and he'll now be able to fully live out his truth of justice, and he can now intervene in a bunch of affairs because he's immortal. Now, one thing that I wanted to ask you, Matt, is
yes, sir.
Do you think that his angel powers have been stripped, right? So I would just be so curious to know like what his power level is at, because I mean,
his skill set is
because it's like, all right, his angel powers were now relinquished, but so what is his power level now as a mortal? Like, is he still kind of up there as like one of the strongest fighters, or is he like more down to Jocko's level? Like, I'd be interested to know, like, say in the future there's another tournament of power, would I think he should be someone that they recruit, and I would love to see
1000%.
What his power level would be against other mortals. So Mirrors is not disappeared, and as the punishment
disappeared.
Yeah, right. He is in existence. And so as Beerus and Supreme Kai's punishment, they have to be playmates for the two Zenos, and the Zenos use them as human horses. They're just riding them around in their little play area. So there's that Toriyama humor there.
Always.
And so obviously Beerus is pissed because the reason why they're even in this situation is because of Goku, and so he learns that they're partying and celebrating, and he's like, "Hey yo, what the fuck?" So yeah,
he said, "Yo, you better make me a to-go plate too, boy." Stop playing.
Exactly. And another highlight of the chapter, Mir and Jocko is just. He feeling good. He feeling on top again, walking through the Galactic Patrol prison. Talking to
he's a big dog.
Yeah, he talking big cash shit to the prisoners. But then they bring up to him, "You sure you wiped out everybody that you say you did?" They're like, and he's like, "Yeah, no, everybody's dead." He's like, "You sure 7-3 is completely evaporated? He's completely out." And he's like, "Of course he is." But he's not really too sure about that. So they go back to the crater where 7-3 was destroyed in Moro's death, and they check, and he's like, "Oh no, we're good here." Just for pieces of 7-3 to be slowly absorbing back together, to then be taken away by we don't know who yet. And so. But then, obviously, towards the end of the chapter, we learn that the original creator of 7-3, Master Goichi, is the one who has found 7-3 and has now brought him back to his ship, where he now has soldiers of different 7-3s, where he's going to import all of the data that this OG 7-3 has collected on his time on Earth into the other 7-3 soldiers, to form this massive army, which was going to be a hella cool concept until we see the next big character of the next big arc, Granola.
The bull
Granola.
The guy.
He is
Link.
He is following Goichi's ship, and turns out he is going after OG 7-3. We don't know why yet, but he attacks Goichi's ship just when Goichi had his prized possession back.
He was like, "It's lit."
Granola shows up. He steps in, wipes out all Goichi's soldiers. Goichi's like, "All right, let's send him all the 7-3s." Granola says, "Nah, they light work too." And then with his headset,
finger, with his Dodon rays,
and with his pal Oatmeal on the side, letting him know where the actual OG 7-3 is. He finds him, and boom, the chapter ends with after Granola wiping out all of the 7-3 army soldiers. I mean, just demolishes them one by one, just with his precise
quite
aim.
literally with one finger,
one finger, one eye, bang, bang, bang. Finds the last, finds where the OG 7-3 is, the one that he's looking for. He smirks, grins, and that's how the chapter ends. So yeah, that was
so it was a conclusion and a setup arc all in the same chapter.
Exactly. And while a lot of you might think I ran through that pretty fast, that's legitimately the chapter. Like, there's definitely additional dialogue in between that happens in there, but like
there's a good joke about the Galactic Patrol King like calls Goku. I was just like, "Yo, you're grabbing my dick on purpose at this point."
Yep.
I thought that was really funny. And Goku doesn't say no.
Exactly. So I mean,
he doesn't say you're wrong.
It's your quintessential wrap up chapter, obviously, which is like it was cool. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was like when you finish an arc, you expect when you're watching an anime, once a big arc happens, you kind of anticipate either a filler episode to happen next, or like a filler-esque type episode, or like if it's a show that goes on that operates by seasons, then all right, then season's done.
It's a break.
Yeah. So
that's the one thing that I really did like about this, reading it in real time, is that because they ended it setting up the next arc, like I knew there wasn't about to be like a really long gap between when I knew that they were already working on the next arc. So I was like, all right, cool, I don't have to wait 6 months for the next chapters. Cool.
Right, exactly.
I'm pretty sure they rolled right into the granola arc. Like it didn't really like stop. Like there might have been like 1 month where they like took a break.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely just rolled right into granola. So, yeah, that was, I mean, and like you said, that's good though, just so that like, especially since it's operating on a month by month basis. So that would have been some shit if we had like 2 months of just nothing, or like 2 months of just content that like really didn't matter in the grand scheme. But for this, we solid.
OVA chapters.
Yeah.
I don't want this shit.
Yeah, but that was chapter 67 in a nutshell. So we're gonna take a quick break to hear a special message, and then we will get back to giving our final thoughts about the Moro arc. So we'll touch base soon.
Pay these bills.
Hey, toy collectors, do you like Transformers or Star Wars or Transformers or Lego or Transformers or Gundam or Transformers? Or maybe even Transformers? Check out Toy Spotlight, which features a guy who has 2 thumbs and does toy reviews. Not sure why the thumbs are important, but go check it out anyway. Go to youtube.com/Toy Spotlight, spelled Lite, which is a funny way to spell toys. See you there!
All right.
And we oh, you got it.
No, we legit did that at the same time. But yeah, we back. And
we back.
So for this portion, what Matt and I want to do is that we want to give we each came up with 3 things that we liked about the arc, and the 3 things that we didn't like about the arc. So how would you want to start? Do you want to start off with the good or the bad, or like what?
We could do the good. But before we get into that, I do want to remind everyone that we are officially in week 2 of our Dragon Ball for Life giveaway. So last week we started the giveaway. We mentioned it. The graphic has been put up on Instagram and Twitter. That is DB4L_pod on both Instagram and Twitter. And just another quick brief reminder on how this works, because the rules in its entirety are on both the social media pages. Each week, starting with last week's episode, we will be saying a code word at some point in time during this episode. Pretty much throughout the episode, we'll squeeze it in. We might have already said it already. You never know. But how you enter the contest is for the next 2 weeks after this, so it's 4 weeks in total. You will have to send either Trav, Mikey, or myself a DM, or just DM us in the DB4L_pod of what the 4 secret words were. And that'll get you an entry into having your name plucked from a metaphorical hat to win some dope shit. It's we've seen the prize pack. We are all considering entering.
I want the pack. I want the giveaway item. So
right, facts. So yeah, so once at the end of the 4th week, so you can start sending them in now if you want. So if you figured out what the password was for last week, and if you figure out what it is for this week, you can start sending them in now. But you're gonna want to get all 4 words right, and you will be entered for a chance to win the giveaway pack. And it's like valued at over $100, and has a lot of dope shit. Because yes, we're trying to bribe you to support our brand. So take advantage.
I mean, everybody does it at some point, right?
Right.
Yeah, man.
They said, "Oh, that motherfucker sold out."
Nah, we. I mean, you know, it's just. I look at it as a nice reward to the loyal listeners, to those that have been supporting us since day 1. So, yeah. Well, if we're gonna go into the good, I'll start off with my first 3, and this is by order too. So the last one I mentioned will be my favorite part of this arc. So number 3 is Moro's magical abilities, and the reason why I put that in there is because a lot of DB villains, at least that we've started to see, outside of Zamasu, where Zamasu really had a reasoning behind why he, started going through his mass destruction. But a lot of the
Yeah.
villains, in terms of abilities and what they do, are very just power driven. It's
Yep.
based on destruction, strength, who's the strongest. Where we haven't had a villain in a while like Moro, where he relies on different tactics, different strategies, his magical abilities. It's not simply based on just being the strongest. The way he builds his strength is through his planet sucking ability, but also his
Freak
right,
mode.
his magical abilities as well, that pose a different threat to the Z fighters and causes them to think in a different way. And I like that. It forced Vegeta to go to planet Yardrat to learn Force Spirit Vision. So I think we need to see more villains like that force the Z fighters to be more tactical and strategic, because just outpowering them, it gets old after times. So I mean, even when Goku was in Ultra Instinct and he was talking to Moro and saying like, hey, if you would have trained more, maybe you'd be. And Moro was like, I don't training, like that's not something that,
He said train.
he's like, that's not something I would do. Where like, because he's honing his, even though like honing his magical abilities would be a form of training, but like the idea of training to like, build muscle, to build strength, that wasn't Moro's MO. So I think having more villains that force the Z fighters to fight a bit more strategically than just run and punch, it's like, nah, like that's what I really liked about this villain.
You just made me think of something that I didn't really think about. Like, let's say Goku had convinced Moro to go back to prison and stuff. Why do he keep putting it in his opponent's heads? Like, yo, get stronger. Because they like, look what happened with Frieza. Yeah. Frieza became a problem after he started training off Goku's, taunts and shit. Like, he was like, you know what? Let me train. And he became a fucking issue. So say Maro really had gone and just went back to jail, or if not, it agreed and they just didn't kill him and got him to go back. He'd have been in that case like, you know what? Let me start training and see what's up. He definitely would have broke out again.
So I mean, but hold that thought, because we're definitely gonna expound upon that later about things that I dislike. Number 2, Z Fighters back in action. I think we've been talking about this for a long time. A lot of fans have felt like Dragon Ball Super is the Goku and Vegeta show. So it was nice to see, and now albeit it felt like a little rushed with their fights, but at least the other Z fighters were finally involved in the fight on Earth, and it wasn't just, oh, Goku and Vegeta are going to handle everyone. So it was good to see them back in action, because we like the other Z fighters. It's not like we don't want to see them anymore.
Facts.
Like, we like all the characters. So it was.
They said once we changed the name from Dragon Ball Z to Super, the Z Fighters got the fuck on about it.
Their contract ended. They're like, yo, so
they only being brought back on 10-day
they said
contracts.
The market is different. We can't renegotiate at this price. You talking about Wolf Fang Fish, Yamcha? I don't even know if you still got that. So
Look, they said we got a 10-day home and away D conversion contract for you. Like they
threw him on a 2-way.
Can do.
And then
he was like, just
last but not least, and Matt, you can probably guess. You can probably assume what this is going to be, but I'm gonna say the official debut of Oob. Now, I before the but actually, folks, get to me. I know he was mentioned during the Tournament of Power recruitment. I understand that.
We were there.
But in terms of like seeing Oob having the impact that he did, I won't lie to you. When I first read this, when it came out, I was like, let's go when I saw it, because like. When they introduced Oob, I know it was like it was met with mixed feelings, because I agree that it was random at the end of Z for Goku to just leave his family, did just with this random fighter to just go train.
Essentially kidnap a small black child.
Yeah. And then when GT started, they were initially going somewhere with Oob. I was like, oh, okay. Oob is about to be a problem. But then
especially when him and like Majin Buu figured out their internal differences, and like Majub was a problem.
And now that we know that he has God Ki inherently in him, he has so much potential, and there's so many places that he can go. So I really, 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 really just pray they don't mess up his character. But just seeing him finally have an introduction within the show, to have an impact, and also it was a good way for them to tie in why Goku was so interested in Oob at the end of Dragon Ball Z. So now, granted, some people can say, oh, it's an ass pull and everything. Yeah, but like at the time when End of Z was created, Super didn't exist. Like, I think it was 13
didn't show up from
13 years until
later.
the anime returned and the manga returned. So
because I always forget, because I remember there's a weird time difference between like when Dragon Ball Z started here in America versus when it started in Japan. But then also like in the Majin Buu saga, the gap wasn't as big in terms of like when they got it, when we got it. Like I remember like the Saiyan saga, that was like years before it came. Right. It got dubbed. Like it was just like, oh, they had been dynamic for like 8-9 years already before it got here. But like when we got towards the end of Dragon Ball Z, it wasn't like simultaneous, but the gap wasn't as big. Like there was like it was like there, and then it came here like right after. So I always forget like how long it was between when Dragon Ball Z officially ended and then when Super started. But you said like
I think it was something like that, which is so funny because like
it was definitely
a long time, but at the same time it didn't feel that way because of just how strong the fandom is, like from the constant talk about it, the video games that had been coming out, the fan fiction that had been happening. Facts. So like it was the community that kept it alive and well that allowed that comeback to happen. Because had the fans not been so passionate, had been so persistent, stay creating content, stay talking about it, we probably would not be seeing the return of Super. I mean the return of Dragon Ball in general. So we gotta give it up to the community, because we've been keeping this thing alive and well, and it's here to stay, and Toriyama has really opened it up to like be around for a very long time with all the new different universes, and there's just so much that you can go with this series now, and which is another reason why we wanted to stop being the Goku and Vegeta show. But I'm gonna pass it over to you so you can go over the 3 things that you really liked about this arc.
You accidentally actually segued into one of my things.
At this point, it ain't no accident,
building. Brother. You know what I mean? We just do this, bro. Main gods. But yeah, probably my favorite thing. No, I'll say it's my second favorite thing, because Moro's magic was on my list too. So I'll either think of a third one or just do 2. But the world building for sure, like with the introduction of Moro, of Miras, of more the Galactic Control, going back to Yardrat and actually getting busy with the Yardratians, like giving them names and faces and different looks and stuff like that. Just opening up that world, and like you were saying, Trav, kind of tying into the Moro's magic, because we've seen magic with Babidi and stuff, but he was a mouthpiece. But like seeing such a different type of ability was like so fire. And then like with the all the prisoners that escaped and all like their different look, like so I would definitely say the world building, the exploring, the new powers, Force Spirit Fission, like seeing like that it is a universe, because now we know it's like Universe 7. But like you were saying, Trav, like it doesn't have to be the Goku and Vegeta show anymore. Like there's so many strong people out here with different abilities, and like the sky, like you're saying, the sky's the limit. It could really like take this shit a whole another direction and like go crazy funky like with it, which I'm looking forward to. My second thing, which is kind of tied into the first, is the character designs. Like I loved Moro pre-7-3 fusion look. We've never seen a bad guy look like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like all the villains in Dragon Ball Z, like obviously Frieza and Cell don't look the same, but like kinda like the aesthetic for all the villains, all the characters, you could tell they're drawn by the same person. Like they have like a mold, like this, that, and third. You know, whether that be, you know, all the way back down, you know, in the Red Ribbon Army days, you know, to Cell. You know, it's just like, yeah, there's different looks, and you know, androids versus aliens versus Saiyans and stuff. But Moro, we've never seen nothing like him before. Like the goat with the horns and the long nose and the fur and the chicletas, the feet, the clappers,
the hooves that move ever so silently,
ever so silently. So it's like a ninja, nimble. And then with the end of this chapter, I love Granola's design. That's one of my favorite things about the Granola arc. I hope
he's here to stay, and y'all will learn why. I hope so too.
But yeah, so like going along with the character design, we do get introduced to Granola at the end of this chapter, and like again, he looks completely different than anything that we've seen before. Like it's definitely giving like Link from Zelda vibes.
I was about to say he definitely gives you some Tapion vibes too.
Yeah, so like Tapion meets Link. Like it meets like Abercrombie model. Like it's a lot going on.
I feel like in the Dragon Ball world, he probably would be considered handsome.
1,000%.
He'd probably be. He probably be considered sexy in the Dragon Ball world.
1,000%. He would get all the women. he don't
stay chilling. But
don't stay chilling.
All right, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think that Maro's magic was like one of my things too, which you covered. So yeah, so definitely the world exploration or the world opening and the new character designs plus Maro's magic would be my 3.
I got a feeling too that when I start going over my 3
your problems, we probably have the same. So let's do this for the problems. Let's do 1 and 1, because we'll still try to get to 3, but in case we say each other's ones, we could just move on.
All right. So my 3rd was recycled themes, like the whole concept of we fight and test out the power, realize we're not strong enough. Okay, we're gonna go and train, come back, still Goku. We come back.
You fight him, I fight him. Let's jump him.
Goku fights him, but then like we get Vegeta, who gets our hopes up yet again. But you know that he's not gonna get the final kill. He's just serving as another placeholder to build time for Goku to, you know, finally unlock Master Ultra Instinct, and then Goku returns to save the day. So I think the recycled theme of how these battles play out is just, which was just so disappointing because of what we were talking about of Moro's magical abilities, where there was a lot of strategy involved. Even though when Vegeta came back, he did have a new technique that, you know, was applying the strategy, but the way that we got there was still the same Dragon Ball process and fights, you know. So,
and then they got rid of it. Not rid of it like he can't do it no more, but like they didn't stick on it. Like it was literally one. It was one, not even a whole chapter. It was like half of a chapter.
Right. So I mean, and look, there could be. I don't think Dragon Ball fans would be mad if there was a battle between them and a villain and it ended within an episode or two. Like a lot of animes, big fights. It wasn't until I started watching other anime where I realized like, oh, it's not long and drawn out like it is in Dragon Ball. Like a lot of animes, like big fights, happen in 1 to 2 episodes, where in Dragon Ball it tends to drag out. So yeah, I mean this
because other animes use the story. Like, the fight is just something that's happening to move the story forward. Dragon Ball tends to build to the fight. Like that's like where with like My Hero is a perfect example. Fights happen in My Hero, but it's like in context to like the story arc, like with what's happening. So it doesn't feel drawn out or whatnot. And they're not afraid. And the thing that I love about My Hero, they're not afraid to let their main characters suck.
Right.
Like they're not afraid to like let them take L's. Like Dragon Ball Z is like, no, we have to drag this out until Goku Vegeta figure out a way to fix this.
Like, they don't gotta save it every single time. But what's your third?
Big facts. So definitely, on adjacent to what you just said, it's a reuse trope, which was your overall thing, but my very specific reuse trope, and it's not even just the Moro arc. I feel like it's every arc as we keep going. Goku just keeps getting dumber and dumber. Like he's just
that's actually my number one.
The lack of intelligence is just like mind-boggling.
I said Goku's regression. That's my number one.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like I think back to early Dragon Ball Z, and like Goku was like fun-loving when it's not a fight situation. That's when you got like goofy fun Goku. But like when it was fight time, he was like serious, battle calculated, like mental. Like he was like in the zone. It was like a flip would switch. Like he was like, all right, go time. But it's like now he just kind of keeps like that kiddish demeanor like throughout. Like there's never a time where he's just like, all right, let me stop playing. Like he's like Namek. Like when he came to Namek, like my man showed up with a mission. He was like, we're not telling jokes. Right. We not no. Like,
and it's because mission. To that point when he unlocked Super Saiyan, and it was time for him to fight Frieza. Yeah, granted, at the end he still was going to give him a chance to live, but at the same time too, he still had an edge to him where he was like Goku. He was like, Gohan, take everyone away from here, and then Gohan was like, he's like, now leave. Like he had a seriousness to him where he's like, nah, I'm not playing right now. Yeah. And it even in like this fight where like his man Mirrors went away, you're still offering a sensu bean to Moro, putting him at full strength, thinking he's gonna change. Like that writing was very bad. It was very bad. And it just it's not funny. It's not a funny thing anymore of him just at being all. A dumbass like that. It's extremely annoying.
We stopped enjoying it very long ago.
When I reread that, like, I was pissed off. It serves
no purpose. Yeah, it serves no purpose. Like it's just like it. So my next thing, I'll let you go next, but my next thing, because I feel like it definitely will be similar, but it does a specific thing, like by having just him be dumb. Like it just extends the shit longer. Like could have killed him there. No, let me Goku it up. All right, now we need 3 more chapters.
And it's mistakes that are just like now they're at not just at an Earth level, they're at a universal threat level. So you would think that as he got stronger and got these powers, where now it's like, hey, you're coming across foes now that can threaten the whole universe, not the galaxy, the whole universe, not just the planet Earth, but everywhere in the whole solar system. So knowing that, it just and that's why there's been people that have talked about it and have the reason why Goku is essentially kind of like an anti-hero. He's not really a hero. He's selfish. Like he's doing this for his own selfish desires because he likes fighting strong opponents. Yes, he'll defend his family when he has to, but right, but
if he has
a lot
to.
of times, you know, he's essentially willing to put his family back at risk by keeping these people alive for his own selfish desires to fight them again when they get stronger, which is just the most irresponsible thing that you can do, which is why it was so funny when Beerus got first introduced, when theories started coming out of like Goku being a god of destruction, where it was like, nah, like he does not have the mental fortitude to do that. Like no.
Or do I think he would want to? But I remember like all the fan arts of Goku with like, you know, the ceremonial pieces on and stuff like that. I do love that. Oh, that's in the next chapter. I can't even talk about that.
Since we already went over my number one thing that I was, you know, most thing I disliked. My number two on my list was inconsistent pacing. I thought that there were times of the Moro and Goku fight that were just way too drawn out. Could have been condensed either into a few, like a couple chapters could have been removed from their fight. I thought that the fight with the Z fighters could have been a little bit longer, or could have gotten more coverage. It just felt imbalanced, the pacing of it. Like they would introduce a lot of cool shit to us, but then the stuff that they would focus time on is the stuff that we've already seen before. You know, the kind of fights that we've already watched. That's
funny you say that. That's
okay.
My number.
So we basically had like ours like reversed.
Yeah, a little bit. Because that's what when I was saying about the Goku stupidity, I was just like, when I was saying it doesn't serve the story, him doing dumb shit. So because I figured that was going to be one of your things. Right. It extends the arc. Like it just makes it. It makes it longer. Like, no, you could have blasted him and we'd have been out of here. Get lunch. But no, we needed 2 more chapters to finish them because you want to give him a sensu bean. And then it's just like, why are you going to help repower someone whose powers is to steal power?
Make it make sense.
like why would you boost him back? Like, you know, as soon as he goes full power, like, you know, if you're just touching the surface, you're losing energy.
When I first read that,
helped him get back there. Like,
knowing that like when he gave that sensu bean, knowing like we were like, fuck, this is gonna give us like 2 more chapters of this shit. And that's when you start losing fans, because when they see that stuff, then they start feeling like it's really starting to drag. Then they're like, all right, come on, what are we doing here? Especially
when you write our feelings into the fucking chapter.
Right. You have a joke about him prolonging this within the chapter. So like, you obviously know this is something that we don't fuck with. So like, why are you doing that?
Exactly. But Trevor, that actually was my number one thing. Almost, you said it verbatim. How they started off with something fresh and new, but they was like, shit, we have to end it the way we always.
It's like, no, you don't. No, the fuck you don't.
Like, even like, no, not at all. Like with Moro's magic, Moro's appearance, like they literally took everything that was like cosmetically cool about Moro, took it away. Like, it was just like, let's make him look like all the other villains now. Now, like, I hated that decision. Like, him fusing with 7-3, I thought was cool. Like, and him getting like the power and everything, I thought was like, all right, that was a dope, you know, level up. And especially when he had the Kith off-white angel suit, like that was dope. But I was just like, he looked so cool how he was. You could have just kept him that way, just put a jewel on his forehead.
Like, or we could have just fast forward to his mirror's form, because that was
kept
pretty smooth. I thought the mirror's form.
Yeah, like skip the middle part and just go, And I feel like that it definitely would have hit different if he just went from like the GOAT version to the all white 7-3 kid version.
Oh, he drippy
like,
now.
Oh shit! Like, but, he popping. But yeah, for because when this arc started, and it was the same thing with the Goku Black saga. We talk about that shit. That shit started off so strong. Like it was like, it's like a murder mystery type.
It had
vibe.
the potential to be like one of the best arcs of the franchise.
So
and then,
good. Yeah, like trying when they were like going on like their investigation to try to figure out like who Black was, why he had no key, like who done it,
right?
like how did it happen? Like all that shit was like, oh shit, fire. And then nope, back to the old formula: lose a fight, go train, come back and win, and whatnot. But yeah, like how this joint started, you know, like with the Galactic Patrol, like we got to see like new prisoners and villains, and you know, Miris and Magic and the Grand Supreme Kai was back. Like it was all dope shit. And I was like, oh shit, fuck, we like new grounds here. Like the whole part about having to like unlock Boo's memories to figure out how to beat Moro.
They were really setting it up. They were really setting it up for all that stuff, something different. But
all that shit was,
of course, Dragon Ball was gonna Dragon Ball, and they did.
Dragon Ball, definitely Dragon Ball.
But hey Matt, let's dragon drawled. But hey, let's put a red ribbon bow on this arc. Give everybody our final 7-star Dragon Ball review for this arc. What red ribbon bow stamp do you finally want to put on this?
So that's a clean stamp. That red ribbon bow. That's a clean logo. That's a dirty stamp. I would say in its totality, start to finish, I'll give this a 4. I'll give it a 4. Maybe like a 3.9 out of 4. Or just made it to a 4, not like a strong 4. And it's really just because I just take deductions away for like the typical Dragon Ball Z trope. Really, how it ended, that like it kind of messed it up for me. It would have been a higher score, and I know we're closing it up, and we already did like our 3 things that I hate. That fucking kaiju shit. Oh my god.
If we want to talk about Assholes of the Century, that was it.
But yeah, I'll give it a 4. But in terms of like drawing, 10 out of 10.
I'll never knock
design,
Toyotaro's artwork. That's one thing that he definitely shines on.
Yeah. Even the concept, I would give all 7 stars. Like what it started as and what it should have stayed as, I loved, and everything. Is just the final extra. They didn't stick the landing for me. No,
and you know, I'm gonna be a little generous and go 4.5. But that extra boost was mainly because of my man Oob coming back. So I'm giving him high praise until Toriyama fucks up his character.
Yep. Sends on the plot twist. He becomes like Gohan's student assistant.
Yeah,
it was always my dream to become a teacher.
But so I mean, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. We did it. We completed our first arc. We reviewed it all. We stayed consistent, and you know what? We gonna come back with some new material, some new ways of viewing, and y'all gonna like it whether you like it or not. I don't know. Sounds redundant.
You're gonna like it whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So
you have no choice.
Look, we made it. We did it. I hope that, you know,
we did
during this time off.
Remember,
as
we keep teasing it, but information on what?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh no, I was saying we were actually doing it again, saying the same thing at the same time. I was just gonna let the people know, you know, just to keep their eyes and their ears open, because we are currently working on what me and Trav will be doing in our hiatus from manga review. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep chugging out this content until someone pays us big money to continue to do it. But we're working on something really, really fun with our lovely people over at Fandom Spotlight that you guys are going to like. So you don't got to miss us because we're not going anywhere. We're just taking a break until we move on to the granola arc.
Matt, take us away with our closing sentence.
It's been one hell of a ride, and we'll see you guys on the other side with some other shit until we come back here and do the granola art, which you guys are gonna like. That's a fun one. That's a fun one that you guys are gonna enjoy. But you know how we do here. Follow us on DB4L_pod on Instagram and Twitter. Again, the contest is running still to this day. It is a 4-week contest. It started last week. This is week 2. We have definitely said the secret password for this episode, so just make sure that you catch it. And again, when you get all 4 words, you're going to DM that to either myself at _menace2 sobriety, that is the number 2 not spelled out, or to Trav, who is Toll Trav on Instagram, or just send it to the DB4L_pod Instagram DMs. Slide up in them DMs, people. We're trying to give y'all free shit. But like we always say here at Dragon Ball for Life, whether you watch it or you read it, we all need it. So follow your fandom right back here, and we will see you next time on Dragon Ball for Life. Dodon Ray.
We love you, Mikey.
Shout outs to super producer Mikey.
And shout outs to Yali as always.
Get out.
Gang.
Bow. Gang. Fucking gang.